If you love food, you can thank an American farmer or gardener. We're going to look at some great restaurants, a food pantry and community program, and a pick your own produce adventure on a local farm as we celebrate food on this edition of Connected Colorado. Hi, I'm Wendy Brockman. We're here at Berry Patch Farms in Brighton, where they're getting some much needed moisture. We are on our very own berry picking adventure. We'll learn more about that coming up. But first, there is a delicious new addition to Aurora's Cultural Arts District.
There's a little bit of me in all of the selections that we have, the Vietnamese, the American, and the French, and I just kind of feel like that is me displayed on a menu. I am Vietnamese. My parents were immigrants from Vietnam during the war, and so I was born and raised here. I like to say that I'm a pastry chef by day and a culinary chef by night, just simply because culinary's in my blood with my parents being in the restaurant industry, but pastry arts is what I do professionally.
32-year-old Toa Nguyen is the visionary behind Bun and Butter Bakery Cafe on East Colfax.
It's on the very bottom right here.
The name incorporates her Vietnam roots.
The word bun itself means collective of different savory pastries, sweet pastries,
with a Parisian twist.
When you think about how France colonized Vietnam, it played a huge role with our food culture, our alphabet, our language.
Toa's menu is as unique as the community she serves.
I feel like there's this huge diversity from Aurora Fox. There's a lot of culture in here, and I was just waiting for the right space to come up. And so when I came and looked at the space, it felt right. I have to thank City of Aurora with just how much involvement they had in the success of our business.
The city connected her with the Small Business Development Center.
I honestly didn't know what a cash flow looked like. Anytime I have tax questions or business questions, I reach out to SBDC, and they are there to help me get all the resources. I have huge visions, huge dreams. You have down at the hospitals, kind of working their way inwards, but now with this epicenter right here, I feel like we're working back out.
You can visit Bun and Butter on East Colfax in Aurora. Now, it's always a good idea to buy local, and with Grow Local Colorado, you'll find food growing in some interesting places.
In the early morning hours in parks across the city, volunteers prepare to harvest the day's crop. For Barbara Masoner, co-director and founder of Grow Local Colorado, this time is best served for those in the greatest need.
Grow Local was started 12 years ago. We were provided one bed here in Civic Center Park by Parks and Recreation. The whole idea of the garden was to provide food for those in need and show sustainability. So by growing our food locally, we're reducing our carbon footprint, and we're sharing it with those most in need. You know, it was a slow start, as is true of any organization, but the support has really built up. Now we have a variety of partners. We have over 400 volunteers every year help us maintain our garden sites. We are constantly being contacted by organizations looking for something for their employees to do to give back to the community. So we have finally found our foothold.
From the start, Grow Local Colorado established their gardens as a model for others to follow, keeping in mind a single garden can yield a crop with a lot of extra produce. Grow Local works with volunteers to ensure nothing goes to waste and that every garden is designed to meet the community's needs.
We provide our produce from our 17 different garden sites to 12 partnering organizations. They include Metro Caring, they include Same Cafe, Community Ministry.
Since 2009, Grow Local Colorado established a unique public-private partnership, a private organization growing food on public land with the goal to donate crops to communities that may not have access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
So we want our gardens to be as beautiful as possible, especially in the parks. In fact, a lot of people, they don't even realize that we have vegetable gardens here in the center of the city just because they blend in with the others. So aesthetics is really important. But then we also contact the organization that's going to receive this produce and we say, what do your clients like? So we try to tailor each garden to who it's going to go to.
A benefit of growing food locally is keeping the crop fresh. As soon as produce is harvested, the nutritional value begins to drop.
On average, our food travels 1,500 miles to get to our plate. Well, if you are reducing that mileage, like when I harvest this morning, that nutritive value is still high versus, having sat in a truck and then sat in a storage room and then sat on the grocery shelf. So we're providing our neighbors in need with more fresh produce.
The care put into the gardens is a labor of love, one that is often passed on by those who receive this precious and vital gift.
A few years ago, I was taking all of our harvest to one of the small food pantries in our community. And so I was going past a long line, and that's the sad truth, there's always a long line. I was going through it with these huge boxes full of greens, and one elderly woman stopped me. She said, "Those are beautiful. I haven't seen greens that beautiful since I helped my grandmother in her garden." She said, "I'm going to fix these for my grandchildren today." So, just kind of that full circle. Someone who knew how to use those greens, she was going to give that back to her grandchildren.
The Denver community has been very supportive of the gardens and shown great respect and consideration for their place in the parks.
It's amazing in the time that we have been growing here for 12 years, we've never had vandalism in these gardens. People really like this idea of food going to someone in need. We have a large population of unhoused people that are in this part of town. Many of them have come up to us when we're volunteering and cleaning the garden saying, "Thank you so much for what you do." And last year when we were planting here at Civic Center, some guys that were volunteering with a local corporation, they said if this were to happen in their hometown, Kansas City, when they would come back the next day, there wouldn't be any plants. So it speaks volumes to our community and how people understand, they're compassionate.
New volunteers are welcome and encouraged to get involved today. Just visit growlocalcolorado.org or email Barbara at growlocalcolorado.org.
We all can make a difference. And it could be that you're helping us here in the gardens, tending it. It's that you're taking our produce to a food pantry. It's that you're growing in your own backyard and sharing. There's so many ways to give in our community. It's easy to find opportunities. Just get out there, get involved. And it is so rewarding. That's why I've been doing this for 12 years.
Very nice. Well, now joining me is Claudia Farrell with Berry Patch Farms. Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely, and thank you for coming.
We love it here. Now, everything is very fresh, very local, very organic. How did Berry Patch Farms get started?
It started, interestingly, Tim was already farming. He was a pastor who was interested in finding funding, long-term funding for food hunger programs. I was working full-time as a doctor, but we met and the Lord had just given me a dream to begin farming. And vegetables are my passion, so I started growing vegetables and we built a greenhouse together, which is a great way to get to know somebody. We were so passionate about farming at that point that we began looking for land, and we were looking for 14 acres and landed 37 and a half. So never dreaming that we would need that much, but it's been interesting. We've been able to expand that much and use that land.
So what can people pick if they come out here on their own?
We offer pick your own berries in season, strawberries being one of the main berries. We offer red raspberries, blackberries. We offer pick your own flowers. It's one of my very favorite things to grow. Lots of professional cut flower varieties that people can just come out and enjoy cutting and making their own, creating their own bouquets. We offer a number of varieties of basil, specialty varieties of basil that people may not have ever tried before, like cinnamon and Thai and lemon. And then we offer pick your own pickling cucumbers. Those are really popular. That's a fun thing.
So how many people can be out here picking at one time?
With COVID, We changed to a reservation system for the berries. It just makes a better picking experience for people. So we do reservations now, and it depends on how many berries there are. The flowers and things do not require reservations. It's just the berries. It can get pretty busy even, at that, but it's good. It's a nice busy.
What days can you come out and pick?
Typically this time of year, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It depends on the season and the days. We are open year-round, not for picking, but we're open year-round in our market because we offer winter produce as well. So we're open on Saturdays all winter. We offer typically Tuesdays, Saturdays, and now we're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays.
Okay. And you have some adventures for kids. They must love that.
We do, and it's a really fun thing. We have as one of our core values education about agriculture, about life lessons that you can learn on the farm. We use bees, lessons from the hive, as the basis for many of our educational tours for kids. We offer birthday parties, and then we do a fall pumpkin adventure as well. That is intended to be really fun, but really educational at the same time.
That's great.
So we have a really fun time with that.
Tell me about your store.
Our market offers what we grow, so it's very seasonal. One of our specialties are our vine-ripe melons. We grow 13 different types of melons that we sell vine-ripe and ready to eat, so they have their full sugar content. Because we typically have very dry, hot, dry days and very cool nights here in the valley that brings out the sugar levels. I mean, that's what Colorado produce is famous for, right? High sugar levels. So onions are another big crop. We grow a lot of sweet onions and a lot of other kinds of onions, specialty onions. I like to grow varieties that you can't get in the grocery store. 6 or 7 different types of zucchini, and I think I have 7 different types of cucumbers and 5 different kinds of fresh beans, and we grow dried beans, in season, lots of other fresh greens and vegetables, and it just depends on the time of year.
Okay. What is it like to be a farmer in Colorado these days?
It's challenging. It'd be fun to do the Martha Stewart thing and have my cute little sundress and sun hat and my little truck and not a weed in sight, but it's just not our reality. With climate change, it's gotten increasingly challenging. Heat, hail, early freezes, late freezes, things have changed. It
You're
used
at
to
the
be
mercy of Mother Nature.
Yeah,
Can't
indeed.
control it.
Indeed, and so that creates challenges for every farmer. Labor shortages and the increasing regulation on farms has been challenging. But at the end of the day, we're very grateful and blessed to be farmers, most days.
Most days, okay. What else do you want people to know about Berry Patch Farms?
I want them to know that we are really committed to excellence in produce and in experience. We want people to come out and just enjoy the beauty that God has given this farm, to enjoy the produce that He's blessed us with, and to have a place to just escape from the city and escape from urban noise. Picking flowers is a really fun and joyful experience.
That's therapeutic.
It is. It is. And so, we get to experience it every day here, but it's not just for us. We know that the Lord has called us to share it with other people, and so we're thankful to be able to do that.
Well, thank you for sharing with us. Your food is absolutely gorgeous. Thank you for having us, Claudia.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Now, if you're in the Arvada area, you want to stop by the new Colorado Tap House. You might just find Arvada's mayor there. Did you know along the beautiful trails in West Arvada, you may find the mayor and his wife on a really cool bike?
We've been doing the tandem bike for 20 plus years.
From where we live on the west side, we can get all the way to Golden. We can go, we've done the loop all the way around the city.
And now there's something new on their Ralston Creek route, the Colorado Tap House. The views are insane. They back right to the trail.
When we did the public hearing for this, it was like, this place is going to be in the middle of nowhere in terms of, it's not real close to any straight streets and stuff, but the concept of it was amazing. And of course, here on the west side, we need places like this. And to be here for the groundbreaking and be on the trail watching it being built, and then to finally be able to come when it opened was incredible.
Look what's on tap. A lot of Colorado beer, plus crafty cocktails. And oh, the food trucks, lots of them.
We do gourmet grilled cheese. We have one that tastes like a Hawaiian pizza. They're delicious. Everybody loves them.
Oh yeah, that looks good. The owners, Eric and Jen, have lived in West Arvada for more than 25 years and have been waiting for a place like this to open.
And we finally, I guess, got tired of it and said, let's jump off the cliff with both feet and do it ourselves.
There's some neighborhoods that are very close by that people just either walk or ride their bikes or are on scooters. So there's lots of different ways to get here.
They have yoga, trivia, concerts, bike tune-ups, dogs are welcome, kids too. They even adopted part of the trail, hoppy ales. Love that.
It's really a neighborhood place. It's very special. Happy trails! See you at the Tap House.
Next up, a great pay-it-forward lunch spot in Fort Collins.
My name is Kathleen Baumgartner, and I am the co-founder of FOCO Cafe. FOCO Cafe stands for Feeding Our Community Ourselves. We're located at 225 Maple Street in Old Town Fort Collins, between Mason and Howes. FOCO Cafe is a non-profit restaurant. We are a cafe where you can walk in and pay what you can, pay what you'd normally pay for a comparable meal, pay it forward so others might eat, or make your contribution with time and talent and volunteer. We know that the site used to be the Haston Oil Company, and there are definitely historic pieces of the building that give you hints. There's a track on the back of our dock out here that we use for outdoor seating that looks like oil drums used to be rolled up and down. And then there are old oil drum racks, one of which we actually had an Eagle Scout build a garden box around so that it doesn't touch the oil drum rack and the soil doesn't either. And so we're able to grow food from within this old historic piece of equipment. It's really fun to just see the history in the building every day. We use the ground floor level of the cafe for our kitchen, our restroom, and our dining area. It's a wonderful historic space. We use the downstairs for a small office, our volunteer check-in space, and storage. The interior of the cafe features these beautiful white, black, and red oak tongue and groove hardwood floors. That was a complete surprise to us. The building had been empty for 5 to 6 years prior to us moving in, and the floors were literally black. We had no idea what to expect, and they are just gorgeous now. We use some corrugated metal in the front of our serving area, and that metal was found in an old barn in the Poudre Canyon. So trying to keep that kind of industrial feel that the Haston Oil Company had. People would think now that they were from the building originally. It's really quite amazing. We worked very closely with historic preservation on the building itself and making sure, because we had never done anything like this before and we needed a lot of support. So they helped us a lot, along with the county health department, in making sure that what we were doing was exactly what it needed to be. So we were able to work with the county and historic preservation to make sure that we had the equipment that we needed, and it complied with all code, and it was safe for the building too. We've had the opportunity to visit several other nonprofit cafes around the country, And it's been interesting to me to see how many of these cafes are in historic buildings that have then been rehabbed or restored into their beauty. And I think that's an amazing accomplishment for a community, not only from the social aspect, but from the historic preservation aspect as well.
Last year on Connected Colorado, we asked a fun question. What if we could eat our way out of a climate crisis? Well, as consumers, there's a lot we can do, like knowing which products to buy and maybe which ones to avoid. One way is with the Palm Oil Scan app, developed in part by Colorado's own Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. Palm oil is in almost half of the products at the grocery store, and not just food. And if it's produced unsustainably, it can have a devastating effect on wild animals, wild places, and the climate. So with the app, you can scan a product and see how it does, like Justin's peanut butter cups. This is another local Colorado company. You scan the barcode and find out the rating. Excellent. For me, it gets a rating of delicious. And now, food that helps a community to embrace hope. It's a food pantry with lots of fresh veggies called Broomfield Fish.
It's just been so hard over the past year. I've truly never really asked for help in my life, and when I walked in here and saw this amazing organization, it just made me feel at home and just like 20 times better because the people were so caring and so nice and amazing.
Well, since COVID happened, a lot of people lost their jobs, especially my wife and I. And we were really struggling, so we needed help.
It was just phenomenal to see how much help Fish does, because not everyone has a lot, and seeing people go through these hardships and hearing about my neighbors talk about Broomfield Fish and my friends, I was just like, wow, like there is a great, amazing organization that really goes out of their way to help the community.
Many people think of Broomfield Fish as a food bank, and we are absolutely that, but we are also a family resource center, and our mission is to ensure that we meet our neighbors' basic human needs and that we help families thrive.
Participants come to our Family Resource Center, and we really act as navigators, connecting them to different resources in the area and making sure that they have a great plan moving forward into sustainability.
As a family resource center, it's the one-stop shop that families can come to not just get high-quality, healthy food, but to really get connected with the partnerships that Fish has across the community, across the state. It makes it easy for participants to be able to come to Fish and to really get all their needs met.
The core of it is to really give families the tools that they need, right, to become self-sufficient, to become confident, and to know that they belong in the community.
Fish serves low-income Broomfield residents who live at or below 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. You add a pandemic to that, and there is just a tidal wave of need. Last year we served over 12,600 unduplicated residents, which is 1 in 7 Broomfield residents.
Fish was always here, and the need was always in the community, but it was never this high of a need. A lot of people that never thought they would need our assistance before came and are coming to us for assistance.
Historically, Fish has been a safety net. What's happened during the pandemic is we become a lifeline.
We didn't shut down during the whole pandemic. We transitioned basically in a day from doing indoor shopping to outside distribution. Everybody involved stepped up and just did this wonderful job of making sure that we always had things to give to our families.
Fish really felt like there was a need coming from our participants to have the connection and to have the in-person experience. So we were able to open back up in June.
We did change some things around to make sure that we have one direction traffic flow. It was actually really smooth getting Marketplace set up. For me, it was all about being able to choose your own food and the dignity that goes with doing your own shopping and picking out the things that you want.
It gives our participants a way to get the food that they need for their families with dignity and respect. I think that's the biggest thing. Being able to go in and shop for the food that they need and the food that they want, the food that their family will eat, the food that their kids will enjoy. There's definitely a sense of, wow, I get all these options, and it's pretty exciting.
We also have seen a giant surge in rent assistance. On average, we've been serving anywhere from 150 to 200 people a month. There is a nationwide affordable housing crisis. 50% of all Broomfield renters are cost burdened, which means they're spending more than 30% of their income on rent. Housing here in Broomfield, it's about $1,700 a month for a studio apartment. It's about $2,200 a month for a 2-bedroom. That means that if you're working a minimum wage job, you have to work 97 hours a week in order to afford that housing.
It is a lot easier to and cheaper, honestly, to assist somebody with their rent when they are just behind on their rent than to assist somebody that has an eviction on their record or is now experiencing homelessness and trying to get them housed somewhere.
Over half the people we serve are children under the age of 18, and when we talk about affordable housing, I think it's really important for people to remember how that impacts children's development. That lack of stability, that moving around, that sleeping in a car, that sleeping on a neighbor's couch, that is huge, and I get a little emotional talking about that because it's really devastating for kids. And so we're trying to make sure that kids don't have to go through that. We are so incredibly lucky to live in Broomfield, which is an amazingly generous community. The individual donations that come to Fish allow us to build capacity to do our job really well. We can hire and train the best people to work with our residents and help them on a pathway to self-sufficiency.
So the monetary donations have really helped us target certain items that we can really use and buy in bulk to try and keep those items on the shelves longer, especially the non-perishable items. That's what this community does. We take care of each other, and I can't thank you guys enough for all of that because you've made this all possible.
Walking to a place where we felt so comfortable and everybody was so nice and just caring and loving and just, they made us feel so good.
For me, as a person that works through Broomfield Fish to help and touch lives this way, it felt like I was in the position to really change someone's future. Their children are gonna have an opportunity. They don't have to leave their schools. They don't have to leave their community. And just being there to support people, making them feel like they're not alone, that is how I feel better about my life, and that is what Broomfield Fish brings to the community.
I'm hopeful that we keep this wonderful selection of fresh produce going for the foreseeable future.
I'm definitely hopeful for continuing the great donations we've been getting from the community.
There's still so much need, and having the support of our community is so important for us to be able to do our job, for our participants to be able to get the assistance that they need. So being able to continue our work with the community support, that is something that I'm very hopeful for.
Wonderful program in Broomfield. Thanks to Berry Patch Farms in Brighton for having us. We had an amazing time picking berries. We hope you have a delicious fall season. We'll see you next time on Connected Colorado. I love it. We're celebrating food with community pantries, restaurants, and a pick your own produce adventure on a local farm on the next edition of Connected Colorado.